And buy an AK.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? You should be able to do that.
Why not?
Yeah, why not share the funds? Well, it disappeared. All right, that's a shame. We are heading into it here, so welcome to the game. It's the first game here of day 3 of the PGL Americas Minors, and it's Luminosity and Cloud9. Second map coming up. Cloud9 won the first, and look at that. Shiz taking down nothing. Hiding in the corner. Destiny trying to take a fight. Showtime's gone down in the meantime, and it just takes too long. You just can't stand and be main like that forever and fire that clock. Eventually, you're going to have to go somewhere else. Skadoodle takes down Yell, trying to push through the smoke. Very aggressive play coming out of the Brazilian side, but I feel like now that the push has come to a halt, it's just never going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and I love that from Cloud9, never leaving a teammate behind, pushing in through that smoke and taking Jules, so the Stewie wasn't isolated on that bomb site alone. Now it's a 2-on-3 situation. It's got a little bit spicier as they're able to pick up one frag, but they have the bomb down, and they have all 3 players closing in on these T players.
With time, yeah, in their favor, but still going to be very tricky unless Cloud9 show themselves. If they had more than just a smoke, maybe it'd be possible. At least the smoke will help them. Automatic clicking through, and he's going to be successful. PGL, not exactly any luck with him that round. Shiz going to be moving up, and they're just all going to peek him at the same time. So a great and explosive opening, but once they did that, like, where did the slowdown come from?
The slowdown wasn't really caused by Luminosity by any means. It was how Cloud9 reacted to that situation. Numbers would have been called, the bomb would have been spotted, and the way that they pushed in and helped that site player and took the fight, it meant that even though they had the number advantage early on Luminosity, they quickly lost it because the CTs were doing unexpected plays and taking those heads off, which that's where it all got stalled out. We're going to see the force spike coming in and 5 UMPs from Cloud9 as well, which is not something which I am an advocate of, but we'll see how it plays out.
No, it's disgusting, isn't it? You just never want to see that, actually.
I think it's just too many. I know they didn't get the plant, which means you're less likely to go up against a team with armor, pistol, and a lot of nades to execute. But I like it when there's a better mix of weaponry.
See if they're going to get punished for it here. The Tech9's taking a second kill now, and PGL dropping Stewie, and suddenly it's 2 versus 3. Maybe it's come back to bite them in the arse, chat.
I hope so, just because I don't like to see it. So that'll make me happy if they were to lose this off that fact. But the aggression by Jordan, nothing right now, is able to find one and take him down in Sunroom. The other 2 players are already going to be on that A side. That bomb will go down any second.
He was just tapping away, wasn't he?
Yeah. Get in your bowl hole.
That's what I meant to say.
Why don't you want to go home? Happy Gilmore reference.
Nothing going to be moving up, and he will be able to take down PGL. Now, Showtime has got the door already open on his side, so that's pretty good news. They don't have any grenades to try and get rid of him. They just put that one into main. Still, with the Tech9 against the 2 UMPs, I feel like this won't be easy to hold against the 2 players, but already with the headshot setting up for the pop flash, and Skadoodle, he's got the kit, but he's going to go down. Showtime doing it again. Yeah,
so that was a pretty cool off angle that Showtime was playing in the squeaky door there. You're normally worried about other angles like quad box or maybe somebody playing a bit of a more standard position, but sitting in squeaky door with it open towards him meant he had that line of sight into the bomb site, was able to take a frag, which is almost impossible to trade due to that slight angle, and then played the 1v1 very nicely because Skadoodle knew he had to push them. Otherwise, when you're in that situation and you tap the bomb, you just get toyed with as a CT, and you want to kind of take that fight and get the kill.
Reading the situation pretty well there. Shiz not doing too much damage, but he certainly registered that there were people coming on the other side. A boost going on, automatic with the C-set 75. Absolutely lethal if anyone's going to come around. He spots the bomb and he's going to try and fall back. Oh, did he get spotted? Not quite quick enough, and we'll get the 1 kill at least on Yell, but still a 4-on-4, and Shiz will take down Skadoodle. Now it's a 4 versus 3 here. Nothing. It's actually still doing quite a bit here by the forklift. Such an elusive position, but I feel like they're doing a pretty good job right now with Luminosity. I mean, in spite of losing the first map, they don't seem too frustrated at all.
It's really strange to see the change of game style from when they played on the group stage to now against Cloud9. It's like a reinvigorated looking Luminosity. And they're taking the fight to them, which is great to see.
That was some really sneaky play from Stewie. Ducking into the ground, making his model just a little bit lower, and being able to pick up the kill, but he's still in a 1-on-2 here with the AK and the armor, but with no defuse kit, he will be going down to Destiny, and be another round for Luminosity. This is interesting.
I don't get that. Why was Jordan just walking out trying to find the Ts? Wouldn't you just like play on the site and tap the bomb? But if you have two players alive, you know that they can only peek you from two different angles, right? So with that plant, I guess that's the default plant from now on at the back of the site. You tap the bomb and you force them to peek on you. Instead, they went out hunting kills and almost gave them the advantage.
Yeah, that really has become the new default, you're right.
Yeah.
We should probably rename it.
Yeah, so now there's a chance for Luminosity really to cement themselves 3 early rounds off the back of that force buy. Cloud9 have taken a relative full eco, you know, maybe 1 or 2 pistol upgrades and some flashbangs to try out this aggressive move in middle. I don't know how much benefit it'll reward Cloud9 with, as Shiz is farming up there and gets finally assisted by Showtime.
How does he live for that long? It seemed like he should have gone down, but I mean, good job on Shiz. He was having a bit of a hard time, I think, at the first map, so it's pretty good to see him step it up early with 9 kills here, coming into the 5th round. And now Cloud9 have a bye, but that one from us makes me just blow a frown on my face.
Yeah, and the way that Cloud9 play, we obviously talk about them being aggressive and stuff, right? But Shroud's more of the anchor player, so he's going to have to anchor with that FAMAS. And Yell's going to try to spam right now. It's not going to reap any benefits. I want to get stuck into talking about how that could, you know, potentially play into the meta of rounds on this map. We are going to like see teams take mid a little bit slower or have to jump or crouch over different shots. And what that allows is the Ts to potentially do a faster mid control because the CTs have to be worried about that spam coming through. And if they're worried, they're not getting there as quick, they're not throwing their smoke as quickly, they're not getting their Molotov up on the boost as quickly. And that allows the Ts to push through.
You're right about that, and I mean, maybe that will, maybe especially leading in towards the PGL major itself, that's something that could be exploited more if you're an in-game leader that has the resources to really sort of look at all the demos and figure out the timings and everything. That could be very interesting. Shiz has gone down, so has PGL, and that leaves Yell and Destiny. They tried to do a lot of aggression early on to clear out the checkered over by the B side. It didn't really pay off for them, and that's going to be an easy enough kill for Skadoodle, leaving Destiny here. No chance at all. And Automatic, actually, the gun was covering, the gun model, I think, was covering his model, but ultimately, still not much of a chance. The bomb is still in middle, so even if he wins this fight, it's not going to work out. And Shroud gets to swamp out for an AK.
That's a nice little upgrade right there. One of the things to note is the way that Cloud9 did play that round. They wanted to have a lot of mid presence and B presence, right? They had 2 players over towards that B, 1 in checkers, 1 was in the site ready to flash for that checkers player. They had 1 in the vent and another player around middle and just somebody anchoring over towards that A site. So I like the fact that they wanted to play heavy mid because that's something that's dropped off from this meta of Keisha. It used to be maybe like a year ago that was all the rage, you know, to play 3 people mid consistently and play 2 bomb side anchors. But the force buy now by Luminosity, it looks like they want to go for this mid control quick. There's some, oh, they've slowed it down. Never mind, I got excited for nothing.
Yeah, but they had a flashbang, you're right. They're going to flash their way in anyway, but through the smoke, nothing is loving it.
Easy.
Yeah, that is questionable, to say the least.
I thought they were going to do what I call the flip side mid-take, where they smoke connector and highway box. That's what it kind of looked like leaving spawn. But they threw that one little pop flash from warehouse just to land to blind anybody, and then they went later. And Jordan wasn't blind at all, really, was he?
No. I'm wondering about that. I mean, I don't know where exactly that flashbang landed, but it didn't seem to affect him at all. Yeah. So that's a bit of a shame. Yell and PGL. I mean, what's the goal in a round like this? Surely you're not thinking we'll just go ahead and win it. So you know, is it just the 3 kills that we were talking about earlier?
The 3 kills would be nice. Getting that bomb down would also be a pretty tasty dish to be served on this round for the guys from Luminosity. But it looks like Yell is just going to try and take this fight. Everyone's closing in on him now. He's not able to get that kill on the quad player, and
wow,
eventually goes down. That was a very extended duel with Automatic there. Automatic was just delaying, letting his teammates know where he was, and eventually Shroud came in and helped him out. But yeah, that flash we saw, it either went too far or it wasn't penetrating enough to get Jordan. It looks like it should have got him quite well, but maybe it was too close to that hut, you know, so it might have just obscured his vision.
Oh man, that could be a question of just a couple of inches, you know, like, because I actually thought it went too far as well, but you saw the replay there. It was sort of more or less above his head, so probably should have flashed him, but that's, wow, that's unfortunate.
If you just have a look at the money right now from the guys on Luminosity, They are taking an eco, right? They've upgraded a couple of pistols, but it would be nice just to see them grab a flash, like just one flash right now, because at this moment, they're hoping that the CT's making a mistake and they can capitalize on it. You don't really have any other way of closing down territory. You have to take duels in situations where the rifles are always going to have the advantage, and the flash, you know, you can use that to potentially find that space you need. And there's Stewie. He just gets 2 nice duels. That's a great way for him to get some frags, and now they're just going to walk out onto A.
Yeah, and not much effect up until this point. Nope, Automatic gonna catch Destiny, and Showtime was hoping for a late look. And nothing really coming off of it either. What do you think about the fact that Yell has got 1 kill so far? I mean, we've all been talking about how good he's been looking. He has been looking good.
So here's what I think needs to happen. They need to default right now. They need to stop worrying about that B presence they went for on their first gun round. Get the... they're not going to get an AWP for Yell. They can still do this default without an AWP, right? You're just going to use your utility early and play the corners a little bit safer because you know that players like Stewie and Automatic get aggressive. Skadoodle has even been showing a bit more flair in recent times. So just roll your default, wait out utility, play safe around the smokes because you know the pushes can come in. Once that happens, with the information you have, react accordingly. Don't try this fast stuff because you're playing right into the hands of Cloud9, who thrive when you come at them. They're the kings of getting the multi-frags, I think.
Yeah, they are loving it right now. We'll see. Nothing. Not going to try and go through the smoke in the middle. That's something that we sometimes seen Virtus Pro try and do.
Yeah.
But seems like they're going to play it safe. They go for the boost, and we had this discussion yesterday or the day before, I believe, about trying to get up and doing the run boost versus doing this kind of a boost now. Unless they clear the decals, which a lot of players will do, they can see the blood on the wall, so they should know that there's a boost coming. But I don't know about you, but I spam that clear decal button almost religiously.
So when I'm playing in like a match, I won't because you want the tells. But if you're in the middle of a duel, right, with somebody and then the decal makes it difficult to see him, then I'll hit it so that I can take that fight a little bit fairer, right? But in these early stages, I wouldn't be using it. I know some people even bind it to like their movement keys or mouse buttons and stuff like that.
I've seen that too. I don't do that, but Stewie will get a kill, so now they definitely know that he's there, and the door is open behind him. Will go down. That's a great kill. Shiz and Showtime open.
Still kind of put their feet in the way of Stewie's crosshair and got taken down. The way that all the trades happened was, I don't know, not ideal for the Cloud9 guys, and Luminosity were able to run away with that one relatively easily. And that's the thing, right? They slowed down the pace, they isolated some frags, took the bomb site, got the bomb down. And you just need to keep in the back of your mind when you play a team like Cloud9 that they are going to swarm you. And, that's what I've been talking about. When they're in situations and they're all invested in the site, other players are just going to come and swarm because the best way to get players is caught in crossfires, caught in the middle of other duels. You come in, you shoot them in the back, you grab a couple of kills like that, and that's how you make situations competitive. You don't really want players to be looking at you, right? Yeah,
I mean, especially when you are when you've got as much individual skill as Cloud9 do. They're certainly relying on that at the moment, and they're doing a fine job, I would say. Again, I think it's still Nothing who's having a pretty good game. And not that there's a big gap between him and the rest, but I mean, he's top of the scoreboard again.
Yeah.
He's the veteran player.
Well, this is the thing with Jordan, right? He's been around forever now, and that's, I guess, his job in the team to be that emotional anchor. The guy who knows when he needs to lift the troops, when everybody needs to calm down. And he's doing that and more right now. It's like you mentioned, he's getting a lot of frags on the board for Cloud9.
Yeah. I think that's encouraging, especially if they should make their way to the major. I think they would need him to really play at an all-time high, probably. Pushing up very aggressively and almost taking down 2. That's a lot of damage being dished out. The grenade might just do it here. Oh, it takes him down to 9. But Shroud in some trouble here. Has to just use all of the utility to even try and get out alive, which he'll barely do.
I don't know why Skadoodle was sitting so passively there, because Shroud could have got taken out and Shroud could have died and Skadoodle couldn't help him at all. But he was still playing in a relatively forward position that if a flash came through the B main entrance, he would have been caught in the open. I would have liked to just see him shoot some AWP bullets. You know, that's enough to sometimes scare Tees away from going for picks. Then Shroud could have gotten out. Luckily, he's able to get out of there on 20 HP, and now they have 2 players on the B site. They've got Stewie patrolling in middle right now, as we can see with that AWP, and Automatic anchoring that A site. But he is in a position where if an execute comes in, he can fall back. So seeing where he is right now, this is a really nice off angle. I remember seeing Happy play this a lot, right? And it's really nice to see this position.
Just popping out a flashbang around the 40-second mark, hoping to disrupt someone. Always feels good if you see if it happens right when they've already let go of the grenades. Yeah. You know, that's the best timing. Obviously, they're gonna put out a bit of a smoke, but look at that Molotov. Making sure they can't really go and find him, and he's gonna get a second kill. Automatic playing this position like an absolute expert at the moment. 17 seconds left here. Showtime has got the bomb. He's gonna have to run up, but just as he pulls it out, Automatic comes running through. They still get the frag on him now. It's a 2-on-3, 9 seconds left. He's gonna get the bomb down. And he falls back in. This can be done. They still have quite a few flashbangs and even a smoke there on the Luminosity side. Let's see if they're going to be able to win this one through. It was just a 2-on-4. Now it's a 2-on-3, and the stakes are really high here for the Brazilian side. They've already lost the first map. They need to win this one home. Flashbang in. They're going to go aggressive, and Shiz, he gets 1 kill, but he goes down. Now it's on Showtime, and he's in the back corner, spraying a little bit. They're very low on health. He could definitely do this. Gonna get the one, goes for the second one, and Showtime with 3 kills. Luminosity pick it up. That's a really big round to win.
Jeez, Showtime's been coming up clutch with a lot of impact frags. We're talking about him being more of like a role player on the pistol rounds and the way that they use him in those situations, but when it comes to crunch time, he's getting it done, and that's another example of a nice little clutch that's going to propel the Luminosity guys forward. And Cloud9 force buying into this one again. 3 UMPs, an M4, AWP on Stewie, so they're not giving it to Skadoodle in this situation. Maybe Stewie can be a little bit more, I guess, explosive with this early on. He will be heading towards B, where he will meet Showtime, the hero of the moment. The default smokes are coming out, and this spread seems to be working quite nicely right now for Luminosity, and is, you know, slowing the pace down, taking fights together, stringing out Cloud9, letting them waste out utility, and they're the ones winning the heads-up duels.
Molotov on Stewie there. Just going to be forcing him back. But for how long? He's still hanging around and actually misses that shot. I feel like that was a sure win. And oh no!
Ouch.
Destiny catching him, and the grenade, if you notice, got caught on the wall. It bounced the wrong way. There's a little indentation there that actually caught all of it. So that's an extremely upsetting way to lose a round. Yeah,
very frustrating. A player like Stewie, you know, he's going to be a bit upset that it played out that way. I like the aggression that he kept. The Molotov and smoke came in, which normally pushes the AWP away to play a safer line. That's the whole point of that utility being thrown out. But Stewie's happy to stay. He's happy to take the risk. And if he'd hit that shot, it would have definitely paid off. But missing that meant he got punished in Destiny with that all headshot. Basically meant that Luminosity could cascade into that B site, get control, get the bomb down, and get another round on the board.
They're going to go find them in C connector here, I wonder. Skadoodle finding the first kill on Destiny, and they know that Shroud is there too now. This is a lot of trouble here. Skadoodle pick up another rifle instead and try and see if he can make his way out, but that's not going to happen. That's just, I mean, everything they could want. They only lose Destiny. Yeah. They kill everybody on Cloud9's side, and they're going to be back to pistols. Wow, this could get interesting.
So there's a couple of things to keep in mind when chasing in those situations. If you're up against a team who can save 2 weapons and use those weapons to turn around on its head, which Cloud9 is definitely one of them, then you should chase them and take them away. But if there's other teams who rely a lot on utility and having a good CT system in place and a very good hold, let them save those weapons, because what they'll do is they might force buy behind the 2 saved guns, and that means they won't have all the I guess, utility and arsenal that they need to be effective. So there's some squads, I guess, like maybe on the T side, like an NIP, for example, who had that very long period of using set strategies. If you let them save guns and they force behind it, they can never do their set strategies properly, right? So
yeah, I understand.
Some situations like that, it's also almost better to let them save it.
Well, nothing was saved in that round. 2 versus 3 here, and Luminosity about to take a 7th round. Now, I will caution, I feel like we've seen a lot of games here on Cash where the T side gets up to even 10 rounds and they still struggle on the second half, right? So we can't really celebrate too early, but it'd be very exciting if they could take it to a 3rd map here. I wouldn't have expected that, so I'm pleasantly surprised by the Luminosity team and how well they're playing.
Yeah, they're definitely showing up here, and that aggression and that tackiness, I guess, that they've brought to this game is coming up. Trumps, maybe? I wanted to get a Trump reference in here eventually. Trumps is coming up. Trumps good. Or getting trumped. I think it's a negative connotation.
I wish I knew. I'm glad you got the Trump reference in anyway.
He's my favorite Donald.
Is your favorite Donald?
More favorite than Mr. Donald Duck.
Well, praise Keck.
So,
Yell, Destiny, and PGL aren't really doing much. I mean, right now there's Showtime and Shiz. So I'm a bit of an optimist. I tend to look at a scoreboard like this and I think to myself, well, that's great. That means if they can just put the other players in a little bit, they can actually be winning a lot, you know?
Yeah. When the frags are coming your way, it's normally like heading into... Like when we're getting a lot of frags over towards B, that's where Showtime is, right? He had that clutch as well. So when frags are coming your way, they're coming your way. But I agree with you that activating other players would make it, you know, even more dominant. But maybe those players are needed to put the other two in position to find the frags that they have to.
Fair enough.
I think the more interesting thing is the fact that Cloud9, they have bought into this one. They've got a limited utility, not a single defuse kit. So if they give up a bomb site, they're going to find themselves in a bit of trouble. Stu's going to open up onto one, but quickly traded out. Stu will fall with that AWP, and the bomb will go down on that A side again. So this is when the lack of kit comes into play. The time has already started.
Showtime. Going for that plant with no cover at all.
Balls of steel.
Yeah, that is risky, but I'm loving it. He is just completely unfazed by the fact that he's playing what might be the best team in the qualifier here. Yell going to be taken down, nothing as well, and Shroud, last man left, walking in, he goes down as well. Yell finding 2 kills, and he's finally finding his own rhythm here in the first half. 8-4, and again, Cloud9 with really not that much money to be using in this round. This is, I mean, not only does he push out and win that fight against Automatic at Forklift, that's you know, the big play, but I think a lot of times in that position, if you were Showtime, you'd say, I'm going to wait till someone else gets here before I put the bomb down, you know?
And he could have been punished with it as well, because you did see somebody pushed in through the smoke. I think it was actually Automatic who pushed in through that smoke, right? He's done that twice now. Automatic has done that twice, that he's pushed in through that smoke and got punished for it. And this is where, when you know the style of team you're playing, the ones that want to push through smokes, like Stewie and Automatic, the ones that want to take fights, you just stay gun on in a lot of situations that you normally wouldn't have to. Because, like, why is he pushing through this smoke when he has no teammates, when he doesn't even, like, have anything to help him out? He's just trying to make a risky play happen, and that's not the best way to approach all situations, especially if a team, they've got you figured out. And Showtime, he seems like he's done that.
Yeah, really, really impressive couple of rounds coming out from him. Looked like it could have been a bit dicey in the middle, but ultimately they found their way out.
Yeah.
And now it's just nothing walking around with a knife out.
So I agree with you that even if they get 10 rounds, it's very difficult to convert on that CT side.
Yes.
And if playing Cloud9 in the past, I don't think they had Stewie at this point in time. I think this was, you know, definitely rolling back the years. But I remember playing them, and when they would default, they were just so powerful at their T-side positions and grinding out and finding individual frags. Actually, I think they did have Stewie. But the way that they did it, the way that they approached those situations was so, I guess, individualistic. And they always were able to convert and capitalize on the positions. So that's something to look out for on Cloud9's T side. But Luminosity are doing a really good job here. They're definitely putting up a case for why they should be in this top 4.
Yeah, I think they're surprising a lot of people. Again, Yell is ready, but not going to be rewarded this time.
I hope next gun round enders we see them do a fast mid control.
Yeah.
Right, because they can get away with it. The way that Cloud9 are playing it right now, they can definitely get away with that, and they can get out in mid and take control and make it a faster round, like how they started off this half. And that would be a good change of pace. I'd love to see that come out of old mate PGL.
Maybe you will be rewarded for your patience. Again, Stewie trying to see if he can play behind the forklift and get a kill on someone there, but not really yet. Molotov burning behind Skadoodle, but he's not too worried about it at the moment. Showtime, he's been a source for a lot of openings so far in the first half, and he's going to take down Shroud. Just being allowed to get into checkered like that. Still got a minute left on the clock, so Luminosity, they're fine with just waiting around and trying to see if they can sneak in another kill somewhere.
Showtime's taking like big risks by going for duels like that, right? Like if he's just dying, he's giving the CTs the 4-on-5 super early, right? But because he's on fire right now, let's just have a quick look. 15 frags, he's at really good after plant positions, and even now entries are coming in for this guy, so he's feeling it. And when I guess when a player's feeling it, you got to let him do it.
He is, but a bit of rotation coming out there. Nothing actually pushing in after the Molotov. He was on the bomb side just a minute ago, but now he's out. Showtime is down. Stewie picks up a kill and is now reloading inside of the smoke. Skadoodle has gone down, and Stewie was next in line, so still a 2-on-2. Another person inside of the smoke. Cloud9 just embracing that for the moment. Destiny hits the headshot now with 15 seconds left. He's going to try and get this bomb down. He will be successful, but he's got almost no chance here. The flashbang comes in, nothing. That could have been the round. He does win it, but that was his own flashbang, wasn't it?
That was almost a nightmare. Like, once again, we see Automatic walk through a smoke. He got the kill, right?
Yeah.
But he traded 1 for 1. He made it interesting, that's for sure, and then nothing almost threw it away. But you can see how they held off planting the bomb. Like, Pickle didn't get that bomb down. Yell was just waiting with the AWP. Like I'm saying, I feel like they know that Cloud9 wants to just constantly parade through these smokes, and they're ready for it.
15th round coming up.
Fast mid, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it.
Yeah, you've been ready for it. There's no one on the container either, so they are actually going out pretty quick. At least Yell is there, but Smoke is going to stop him. So just an attempt to get that quick shot in. And I mean, even better if the guy on the other side is crouching to avoid your shot in T-spawn. That would be interesting.
Just turtling out there, ready to get his head popped off. This B main aggression got stifled by one flash, so they are going to leave one player there pushing into Sunroom, but the attack is going to be happening at the A side as the Molotovs do rain in right now. Destiny's already out. Walked onto the side. He's going to wait for Stewie pushing through a smoke. Who would have thought? And the bomb side is theirs.
They've seen the pattern, and it's the same push that happened from both Automatic and Stewie in the previous round, so not exactly rocket science to figure out maybe it could happen again. Now in the middle, Showtime lurking and waiting for nothing, and this is just absolute brilliant from Luminosity. They're doing everything right. Again, Automatic trying to jump in. He gets that shot, and Shiz going for a bit more. He's going to miss his chance, but Shroud is there with a FAMAS. He picks a kill. And Showtime now joining the rest of the troop. He's going to hit the headshot as well. Triple kill for him. 10-5 in favor of the Brazilian side in the first half. And Showtime with a stunning 18 frags and 6 deaths.
Finishing in style. He's definitely not a little man anymore.
Not a little man.
Little man. But yeah, why now I'm going to criticize Stewie for that play. Why didn't he wait for his teammates? They had a 5-on-5. They could have, gone for a retake in that situation. They'd already lost the bomb site. But he pushes the smoke, he gives away a kill, and then everything just spirals out of control from there. I know they didn't have a lot of utility, right? But come on, like, these are the situations where they've already been booking you left, right, and center when you're trying the smoke pushes. It's like, we know you're coming, we're waiting for you, we're going to make the frag before we do anything else. And maybe some more conventional, I guess, positioning out of Cloud9 on that bomb site may have paid dividends, but 5 rounds, we did say it could be enough. And I'm definitely very confident in the way that Cloud9 can play this T side. Once their players get room, they definitely can punish you for it.
Yeah, we do have a big, or a bit of a technical issue, so we'll sort that out. Hopefully,
it's a medical issue.
It's a medical issue.
Yeah, Jordan's nose is bleeding.
Well, that can happen.
Yeah, someone else who gets nosebleeds a lot of the time is actually Matt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it because he walks into things, or?
I don't think so. Matt's really good with direction.
That's true. I've heard this from other people. So maybe that isn't it.
They're ready now. That was a quick nosebleed.
They're all right. Well, I was about to say, the next level play for the so-called body boost is doing the reverse shot from the CT side. Yeah,
we were talking about this. You said you found out how to do it, and I wonder the level of punishing that, right? So you can almost bank that in this current, I guess the current way the game's going, a player like Body's going to do it. If you can do it and have no risk involved, sure, let's do it. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It's possible.
You might have to show it, put it on the YouTubes later.
Yeah, it is possible. 16th round is coming up here. The scoreline is 10-5, and we have all armor and pistols on the Luminosity side, so they're praying for no bomb plants. Yell could be in just a lot of trouble here, but he takes the fight, takes down Skadoodle at least, and oh, look at this. Stewie just signing in, doing the work right away, taking down 2 more players, and what do you do now?
I don't know, but as Jason would say, Stewie just gave him some of that deep dick pizza.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself. That was, that was just, that was beautiful, wasn't it?
That one, I love the USB one taps. I think in my mind they've almost replaced the Deagle 1Bs, right? Because it's just so crisp, and you see them on the pistol rounds. It's like it's one of those frags I just never was able to make, though. I guess that's because I had bad aim.
I felt like you took what could have been a sort of a positive thing and just
made it super negative.
Yeah, you just spinned it right in.
Yeah.
Sadly, that was never for me.
I always dreamed of being able to hit those shots.
Oh, man. Good times. Well, one hell of a start for Cloud9. I mean, you play that forward position in main, and you get the first kill. I guess he couldn't really fall back, but the remaining players just looked like they were helpless to stop them.
The fact that like you can do a little jump peek, Azza used to do it very well in A main. He would go and he'd like just jump peek, like do like a wide, but he would land short. So he'd just see them, and if they'd got behind that box, the information would come and he'd drop back, and we could rotate based off of that. But Yo just went with a dry peek, it looked like, and you know he couldn't actually see if they already had made it across. Maybe he thought he had a good spawn in that situation. It's a big risk, you know, hanging like that. The fact he got one, I'm very impressed with his aim in that situation. Cloud9 did win the pistol round on the first half, and then they got force bought back and did lose from that point with those 5 UMPs. They haven't made that mistake again. Skadoodle has the scout, 3 AK-47s and the UMP on nothing. So if they can convert this one against 5 deagles of Luminosity, they're going to be in really good stead for this half because...
If he had more bullets, there could have been more kills.
5-7 could have done a lot in that situation.
That would have been very interesting, but still leaves Shiz alone. Shizzle. Shoes.
Shizzy Hizzy up in the busy.
That's a lot. That'd be a difficult nickname to try and put in. But
getting ready to lay down the kizzy on the Cloud Nizzy.
I don't want to interrupt this. I think it's pretty good.
This is going to get real fizzy.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go. Well, right now I'm guessing he is just waiting for the exits if he can. But it's not going to happen. Shroud will take him down.
He's the one being shown the door by a little Shrewd. Okay, Anders, I was getting stuck in there, and then the fight happened. My point that I was trying to make was that force by now from Luminosity will punish them in the first gun round, unless they have an aggressive move or a way that they can address their CT side with some kind of vigor. Cloud9 will dictate how they want it to play. Because when you do that, you can punish them in multiple ways, right? You can just do a default, wait out what limited utility they will have on that first gun round. You can do something really like full on, like a full execute onto a bomb site, and they can't stop you with utility. The risk in that on a map like this is they will play around the smokes and they can get multi-frags, and it can be a little bit more random in that regard. Or you can just walk on the site together in a 4-1 situation, use your utility to just like an A main attack, right? It's not a full execute with smokes over. You just use all those Molotovs. Molotov fork, Molotov quad, Molotov fence. You've just taken out 3 spots on that bomb site. They have nothing to push you away with, and you just frag out. And Stewie wants to farm up with that Mac-10 as 4 players are on highway right now.
Yeah, they're all here, and they actually had a flashbang as well. I think that was sort of an attempt to, you know, lure a bunch of people in and then pop a flash and run for, you know, whatever was there. I always like plays like that. I have never measured the success rate of them, but I always think it's such a cool idea if you could just, you know, invest $200 and all group up somewhere. And I guess in many ways, cash is a map where you could do it. There's so many corners you could hide in, right? So
I've got one that you might like, Anders. They need a smoke and a flash.
Yeah.
And just do the mid-con smoke, right?
Yeah.
And you know these windows up here?
Yeah.
You would know this. You theorycraft everything.
Yeah.
If you land a flash on the windows on top of
the mid-garage.
Mid-garage, it basically flashes everything in the garage.
Yeah.
So even if you push in and you catch someone with their pants down, you're going to get a frag there, or you force them back, and that means you can get this control. And if you have numbers, you can boost up and try something a little bit random, you know? Try something a little bit interesting.
Well, you know those windows, the ceiling windows in the mid-garage that we're talking about?
Yeah.
You know you can shoot through them with almost anything, right?
Even a Glock?
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can boost up. I mean, you can't boost up so you stand on them, but if you boost on the little marquise railing thing, whatever it is.
Oh, here.
Yeah, you can boost.
Oh, this thing. Yeah, those windows. Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can look in. No, but even further up, you can boost
Wait,
all the
you
way
can
up.
stand on here and look in?
Yes.
Oh.
You can boost all the way up. Look on that.
Learn something new every day. Stewie's going to try the spam.
He's a bit too early, but I think it was a bit of a late sort of rotation around in the middle, so some delay going on there. Let's see how it goes. Quick with the flashbang is nothing, but not going to catch anybody. They're holding really far back in the side. What do you make of? Do you like that position? Two men backside.
It was really effective for them against. What was it? Who were they playing against on this map? Why is my memory betraying me in this situation? I think it was NRG. It was super effective against NRG because NRG were doing those executes, right, Anders? And we saw them lob down 2 smokes in the site as the defense, and it created a wall that the T's had to run through. So maybe they want to do a similar thing here, but don't think the B side will be where the attack is. They've got mid control right now. Shroud all the way over towards Squeaky Door. Stewie out middle here looking at the vent, waiting for any mid aggression to take this off. And this is one of the problems, you know, lack of information on the CT side, but they will pop flash into A main. That information, you know, can really come in handy for them to maybe cheat a player over somewhere, but Cloud9 haven't invested anywhere quite yet.
No, but look at this. Stewie, he's found a really good spot to be pushing up. If he can get this highway control, especially if they manage to put the smoke down towards PGL, that could be interesting. He does have one, but he's not using it. He walks in and takes the fight. Tries to lure out the player playing in that connector. Yell gets a kill, but he goes down to automatic, and now they only have 20 seconds here. Cloud9 to make it onto the site. Shroud opening up and taking down Shiz is a really big start, and I think it's unraveling at the moment here for Luminosity, but the bomb only now just going down, and still a 2-on-2 with Showtime still in play. I feel like that's what's going to give them hope here.
Shroud's actually playing for himself right now in A main, the afterplant situation, and covering the flank. And Showtime with the wide peak is going to take his head off, and now Skadoodle stuck in the bomb site, AWP in hand, 2 players encroaching on his position.
It's really tough. Sandwiched in. Shoulder peek, but not quite effective enough there. Destiny oversteps the mark, and now on the other side, Showtime gonna try and put up a grenade. He's now on top of the container, looking down, but oh, Skadoodle is right behind him. He finally sees him. The spray comes through, and he's gonna turn around. I think he may have just enough time for the defuse here. Man, that's incredibly close, but he will get it. Luminosity gonna be able to pick it up. Unbelievable. Again, Showtime clutching it. 21 kills. Man, this guy's a genius right now.
0.2 seconds left on that, and not only, Anders, is he fragging a Storm, his M4 is called Bill Cosby. Shall we speculate as to maybe why?
Putting people to sleep?
or touching them so. So he's getting a lot of work done. That clutch is almost a lifeline for Luminosity.
That's awful.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do that? Why bring out the bad memories? Oh, what's happening? They're standing on his face in the middle. PGL down to 12 health.
Standing's probably better than sitting.
Yeah, you have to imagine. 4 versus 3 still, but Showtime coming up again with a win against nothing, and Shiz really long spray. I think he actually thought he was dead then. I don't know if that ever happens to you, but it does to me, where I just stop spraying because I assume, well, he's probably going to be dead now.
Yeah, it's even worse when a frag happens somewhere else. Skadoodle, he's getting multi-frags galore in the middle of these rounds. He's grabbing another 2 in a 1-on-4 situation. Has the bomb again, but you know, he hesitated to get onto that bomb site, was expecting someone else there, and Yell's going to take him down from behind. Cloud9's money now in the bin. They're actually, it's not quite bin juice, Anders. They've just got in the bin. When you've been in the bin for a while, you know the bin juice.
Oh, where you try and pick it up out of the canister, and then it leaks onto the floor.
Yeah, and then you hate life at that point. Cloud9, they're not quite at that point.
Why are we bringing that into the broadcast, I wonder?
Bin juice?
Yeah.
Well, I like saying someone's in the bin, right? You know, when they're in a bad position, they're in the bin. And then bin juice is the worst of the worst. And I can't think of anything worse than bin juice.
No, especially if you've got carpets.
Yeah.
Yeah. It becomes like a day-long project to try and clean it up again. I
don't actually have a home, so I don't have to worry about bin juice.
You've gamed the system in that sense.
I'm nomadic.
Is that even legal
to not have a home?
Yeah.
I still pay tax in Australia. It's all good.
Should be able to escape that.
Is this a force buy? It's a half buy. So they've got some Tech 9s. They know that their losing bonus is slowly going to build up with this one. So grabbing some Tech 9s, covering a little bit of utility. That means a Execute's going to come in here. I wonder if we'll see a throwback to the old Cloud9 with a bit of a veggie wrap situation out of Squeaky Door, because 3 members will be over there.
Veggie wrap?
You don't remember that? That was when Cloud9, when we had the voice comms. I do remember that. That was pretty cool.
I still think it's intriguing. It sounds delicious, and they're doing a really good job at the moment. Shiz and Yell gonna pick up a couple of kills each, but Skadoodle will get the bomb plant down. So mission accomplished as far as Cloud9 are concerned. 3 versus 5. Although given the number advantage, I think it might be sort of more of a George Bush type mission accomplished, where it sort of ultimately doesn't really work out anyway. Nothing automatic, and Skadoodle are trying to just stay alive at the back of the site here, but they've got no more utility to actually keep them away, and now they're just going to get wrapped on here. All the grenades are coming out from Luminosity. Nothing goes down. Automatic next in line, and Skadoodle. Oh, it's a team kill. Showtime is so keen.
Yeah, just wants to get stuck in there. He's happy to kill anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Got the bomb down. Like you said, didn't have any utility to make anything happen in the afterplant. Mission accomplished indeed. Now they have to talk about how they smuggled.
No aircraft carrier, though.
No weapons of mass destruction.
No, none of that either.
No.
So keep Valve any good. If we get airstrikes in this game, I think that might be too much.
It's airstrikes in worms. And that's a game.
It is. I heard you guys made friends over that game.
Yeah, friends. I guess that's one way to look at it.
Excellent.
Alrighty, what kind of mix-up can come out of Cloud9 right here? Because they've put on the back foot. This gun round is going to be extremely integral if they want to mount a comeback here and give themselves a chance in this game. Yell pushing Squeaky, takes down Shroud. As easy as that. And now Stewie, he's going to push out. It's the Stewie way. Gets spotted. We'll take one anyway. And he's evened it up as quickly as if you blink, you miss it.
That seems so silly, doesn't it? Because that's a bold move from Yell, and then
a bolder one by Stewie.
an even bolder one by Stewie, and you just, if you're Shiz at that point, it feels kind of useless, doesn't it? Because you just got that advantage and keep it for all of 2 seconds.
He was ready for it though. Like they did have a duel, he just wasn't able to capitalize, and Stewie did take him down. So this 4-on-4 situation, as we always say, favors the Ts. It gives them a chance to string those CTs over the map and force rotations out of them. And right now, a piece is being taken, a pawn is being knocked over as Luminosity will take the bit of the chessboard that is A main, and the B hit is coming.
That is very well done. Automatic though, is he ready? Over on that side, Showtime will go down, and now on the B bomb side, a lot of trouble, and nothing. 2 great stunning headshots to take down that whole side of the map. Now Yell just sneaking around in middle. Maybe he could catch Automatic if he's going to get the timing down right. It's so close. He walks out. Now he actually just has to fight him straight up, and that's not going to work out either. If he had the AWP out, that would be an easy kill, but he managed to shuffle between the weapons, and now it's 13-9.
I feel like Yell is one of the guys who I'd hate to have in my team, because when I tell him to save, he's like, yeah, I'll save, but I'm going to go for a couple of exits. And then when he dies, it's like, bro, look at our money situation. Why are you doing this to us?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's an authority problem, isn't it, in a team?
Yeah.
If you can't...
I know that like JKS would always save and get exits. He was like the master of being in positions where he was close enough to get exits, but always able to get away when situations went south. But Yell just wants to get super close and try and combat up in all those situations, which is not ideal when you're going to force your team to be on an eco with nothing in hand. He does have a deagle right now. He's going to step out A main. He's going to get tagged up. 19 HP remaining. Still staying close. Any nades will push him back for sure, but Cloud9 look like they want to head towards A. 4 players in A main, 1 towards Squeaky. Utility is going to get thrown out all over that bomb site. Molotov fence, Molotov quad, Molotov fork. Like I said, 3 spots gone, and Scoodle takes 1 down.
Man, this is the American style, isn't it? Throw fire all over the jungle and just get out there. Showtime and Destiny, just the last 2 left. Really, so I think that was a sort of in spirit, an American strategy, really.
And then leave the veterans, in the dark. They all become homeless and cripples their livelihoods.
I feel like, Chad, you always try and
make it grim.
Whatever happens, we end up here. It's binges. it's the mistreatment of the veterans.
Well, I always seem to think they could have done things better, Anders.
They could have. I actually think that's a serious issue. The vet one. I care about that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh, I think we all should.
Destiny? Is he trying to become one with the other team? No? Right.
Yeah, imagine if you could get like a camouflage suit in this game. You just start running with your teammates. Guys, I've infiltrated them.
Man.
They're planning A.
Yeah, and your own team is saying, I said we should only have 3B. Why are there 4 people here? Can someone just get to the other bomb line?
Imagine. I remember in the Warcraft 3 mods. Do you remember that? You used to be able to do things like that. You'd spawn in their spawn, and you'd kind of follow them around and get like 3 guys and shoot them in the back.
Where did those mods go? I want life leeching M4s and stuff like that.
That was always good fun.
All right, well, back to the actual action here, because honestly, this game could get very close. I mean, this could either be Luminosity just straight up winning it, or Cloud9 could be embarking on a fairly epic comeback themselves. Looks like they're going for the double boost in the middle, if I'm not wrong. Yeah,
they're grinders, these Cloud9 going from the T side, and they're able to mix it up. And it's always hard to read where they're going to be. This buy seems desperate out of the guys from Luminosity right now. Hello.
Sometimes desperation works, I assume.
Yeah, which those mechanisms we were talking about there, Anders, and that's one where they react, and Destiny's able to find 2 frags. putting them in pretty good stead for this round. How did Cloud9 react?
Oh my
Automatic hyper-aggressive goes down, and now it's a 2-on-5 situation. A-bomb side is actually open. Shiz is playing the retake position from the truck, so they will be able to get the bomb down. They will be able to add to the economy in that way. Shroud's already made it to quad. Drops the bomb to Skadoodle. I like this better this time. Last time they did it wrong, but Skadoodle will go down, peeking from forklift. This is I was going to build into the point there, Anders, that the AWPer should always go to forklift. It's such a powerful position to play from. They didn't do it last time they had one of these situations. But, that was easy as you like for Luminosity there, I would have to say. They didn't really panic. They were more than happy to give up that A-bomb site. Let them have that plant. Cloud9
it really feel like a lot of those kills, the first 3 kills were down to some strange timings.
Yeah.
PGL on highway there, he fired the UMP towards the A side, that sort of stumbled back into middle and happened to get the great timing and angle against the player coming out there. So not really, not saying it was luck or anything, but it will happen every once in a while, right?
Yeah, and this little pop flash here for him to pick out from behind the B main box is a great way to get 2 frags, isn't it? A bit of teamwork there. He did good to convert that second one and not get traded in that environment. So that was more of an aggressive move that paid off. And sometimes they get punished, sometimes they work. But this time it went in Luminosity's favor. And good to see them able to put a round on the board. But Cloud9 still have enough in the bank, Anders, to put up another buy.
Yes, indeed. A double AWP on the LG side. I think we had a bit of a timeout. Did you call the time? Cloud9 called the timeout. All right. I believe so. That makes sense.
Yeah, they need to just have a chat about what's going wrong. There they were maybe too strung out. The rounds where they've had success, you've seen them go together and use those Molotovs as a team and just trade out in the bomb site. So will they go back to something like that? It looks like if so many people heading in that direction again, that could be the play.
Bomb drop back, and they've got a pretty default setup coming out, but Showtime pushing into main, B main that is, and taking down nothing all the way in T spawn. You feel outplayed at that point in time. You just wanted to hang around. You didn't even want to fight. You just wanted to hang around and make sure no one was sneaking into middle from B. Yeah. Missed opportunity here from Yell, but still, that's just one hell of a kill. Yell gonna make his way out of the Molotov, and the good spray comes through. Shroud taking on Shiz. That's what they needed.
Yeah, definitely a good way to even it up once again. But Cloud9 have really struggled in these situations so far. If they can get out onto this A bomb site without losing another player, they'll find themselves in a pretty good afterplant position. But PGL flicks to Stewie's head, and now Cloud9 are a bit confused on what they should do. They are close to the bomb site. They are going to have to take a fight any second, but this is a weird limbo position to be in.
Oh, wow. Just the random throwing bullets into the smoke practically, and hitting the headshot there on PGL now. Automatic going to go for the plant. So this is actually Cloud9 managing to stabilize a little bit. Big round for them here in Skadoodle, taking down Destiny, and next in line, Showtime. Still trying to creep in. I'm not sure if this is advisable.
Save.
Yeah.
Please save.
The proper save.
The Cloud9 can buy anyway. They've been getting all those plants, so their money is relatively built up. So taking away one gun and losing the AWP, you're not really gaining too much from that situation. Holding on to this means you can have an effective round coming up where, never mind, he's not going to keep that. Automatic says no. I just want to point something out. You know how you said Showtime pushed B and killed nothing? Just holding back super deep in his default information finding, or I guess making sure they can't push B without them knowing about it. When you watch demos, Anders, you can look for those little things in people's defaults. You can know, okay, well, if he's not doing this, he normally plays this position or this position. So it's individuals don't really vary those situations more than, I guess, two to three situations, and normally you can go through them systematically. So if you know it's coming, you can normally find it. So you see, now nothing is in a different one. He's on the sign in T-spawn. He's watching it from a safer position now. So if you're a Showtime and you save that up and you know that this could be the next one in the I guess the routine of Jordan, you could look for that and maybe even find the frag here. But this is a difficult one to hit.
Yeah, especially with a Deagle, right? But I guess his crosshair would give it away if it did happen. You'd almost have to pre-aim that. Yeah,
for sure. You'd have to line that one up and be really ready for this one frag, which is something people might not always be ready for.
I still like the fact that they're going aggressive like this. I think it's really interesting, and maybe it'll pay off. It's certainly allowing them to keep a couple of more people on the A bomb site. And if they keep the full rotation in, you can see now starting to fall back from B is Showtime. So they just got Destiny out and Toxic, and now Sunroom. And everyone else is making their way towards the other side. So we'll see. 50 seconds on the clock here. Shiz boosted up. If they don't catch him right away, if he gets a chance to get one good kill in, maybe something interesting can happen. And there it is, taking down Stewie, almost getting nothing in the feet as well, but he won't be able to do any more than that. And now Cloud9, surely the grenades are going to be enough here for them to clear out all of these positions. Automatic also infiltrated the middle here towards C, and now it's wrapping behind, but 30 seconds left. He's up by Truck, and they're in a lot of trouble, Luminosity. They might not know it yet, but they're going to find out any second now. Automatic Shroud getting a couple of kills here, and it's all over. Yell alone on the backside. Another round here for Cloud9.
I admire the fact that Cloud9 didn't panic in that situation. Other teams may have rushed that run out into those crossfires that Luminosity had set up, that trap that they had set up on that bomb site. But they stayed patient. Shroud was even watching the flank, and that's where Destiny came from at Squeaky Door. Was able to make that kill, gave Automatic time to get behind them at Truck and get a few frags, and that opened up an easier route to the bomb site. So well played by them. I thought, you know, in an age of information that the boys from Luminosity had done enough there by getting Toxic control, but it wasn't to be.
No, I mean, that should have set them up perfectly.
They had 4 there, you know, and they made that initial frag, but Cloud9 played the situation perfectly,
yeah.
I'd have to say.
I agree. Because it is a bit scary when you see the time ticking past 30 seconds and Automatic is going over that flank. You know, what if he forgets to check a corner or he dies? I mean, then you've just wasted 20 seconds waiting for that, and nothing will really happen from it. Oh, they're going to go for the double smoke middle? This is what Hellraiser's smoke.
The crisscross smoke here, yeah. I really don't like this. I think this is so outdated and easy to counter.
Oh. Okay, well, they're not really doing much. Usually you want to go for this if you want to get into vents.
Yeah.
Try and get that sort of crunch on checkered and B. But it seems like they're just waiting on the other side for the moment, and PGL doesn't really mind.
Yeah, the reaction from Showtime here completely negates that as well. He's going to get in the vent. See, it's clear, but the timing comes out. He'll find one, get traded by Automatic, who's now on 28 frags, and eventually he goes down, but the attack is actually at the A-bomb side.
Yeah, what a great jump up from Yell. That's really big. Taking down Stewie, you can see he had no idea. Setting up for the flashbang, and Shiz will take down Shroud. And now just Skadoodle left. Walking in with the AWP, and he pretty much had almost no chance. Couldn't really scope in that position either. Just they would have heard him probably. 15 to 12. Chad, what are we witnessing?
A terrible strategy by Cloud9 there.
Terrible. Break it down for me. How bad was it?
Okay, so the whole point of that is to force out rotations, right? But because they didn't actually flash, make any noise, take a jewel, give any, you know, anything away that they're actually there, it just seemed like a fake. And Luminosity, you know, they read it as that. They boosted up. They took back the map territory, and luckily Showtime did find a frag in transition. But they didn't trade favorably in that situation, and that's kind of what you needed to happen. And from there, Luminosity was just able to mop it up towards that A site. Not something which I think was well inspired.
So
that's
really low effort fake.
Yeah, not even that. I guess they're kind of like reaching at this point. I think what they've been doing, where they just go out and grind rounds at A, would be effective. Like that's what they've been doing time and time again. And Cloud9 normally stick to their guns in that situation. You know, they know that they can hit the frags, and they I guess fell off the path and didn't go with it.
Forgot what they were doing for a moment.
Yeah, I think you'll see them go back to that. Maybe with a bit more B presence. As Automatic, the one who's been making a lot of frags right now for Cloud9, is already peering into B. He's going to find one in checker. Showtime will go down. Now the pressure will be on. Can they isolate Old Mate in the back of B? Old Mate Destiny.
He's been playing pretty decently, but this is not an easy position to be in. And Automatic will take him down, sort of almost playing the role of Showtime here, just on the other side. Nothing going to be walking in. That's a great flick to take down PGL, and maybe this could still be done. I mean, this is a clean sweep in this round.
All right, Luminosity have to hold on to these guns right now. They are going to save, but they need to hold on to them for once. They can't give them away. They can't be hunting frags. What I think they need to do right here is just make sure they save these, because if they have to eco, it's going to all come down to the last round. You know, if they hold on to these weapons, they can have a force bar behind it and hope that somebody is able to pull off a miraculous play or have an aggressive CT move that they've practiced, maybe do a boost over mid, maybe... here's something that I really like. Yam used to do this in Renegades, was throw a bad mid smoke. You know, people smoke mid every single time?
Yes.
He would throw a poor one that would leave a gap, and then he'd push up, because people always get inquisitive when there's a gap, right? And he'd pick that gap with the AWP. A lot of teams just expect it to be a poorly thrown smoke, and they go, oh, they've stuffed up here. I want to take advantage of this one way, or this gap, and you know, you would get punished. And there goes the AWP again. They are chasing, and they're going to lose all the guns. They're going to lose everything.
And it's just very well done. We talk about this a lot.
Yes.
The art of closing games. And I feel like if you're an inexperienced team, it's some of the hardest experience to come by, you know, because you can play, 100 games, but not so many of them you're going to get into exactly this sort of, like, a lot of them you're going to lose, 16-9 like the other ones. So you won't get that, close gap where you are in the lead. Like that only happens in, a fraction of the games.
Yeah.
So you could play a lot, and to sort of accumulate that kind of experience is not so easy, and that's what they need right now, Luminosity. Some sort of play, some sort of decisive call to get one more round in out of the next two here.
Well, because they got this match point so late, Anders, it means that they've kind of just been going with what's working, which has merely been holding their sights. We did see that one with Destiny pop flashed into B main where he got 2 kills, and that really helped push them across the line there. But what they could have done was maybe try a super aggressive move on a bomb site, maybe try 3 middle and boosting over mid to late round, something along those lines, something a little bit more creative that Cloud9 aren't going to be expecting. Maybe even a full-on retake on a bomb site for a change, and that's something which, like you're saying, it comes with experience and comes with the depth in your preparation, because you can't just pull something out of thin air. It's a lot harder as an in-game leader with a 30-second pause, maybe a coach behind you to make things happen, if you don't have any basis for it.
And a lot of rounds that you have to sort of run through in your mind very quickly to try and see what has actually worked and what is their tendency and everything. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I do have Yell in the back here by Quad, just waiting with the AWP. You see the line that he's covering there, but he's going to be flashed once and won't be able to get that kill. And now a lot of trouble. Look at how fast they're being, Cloud9. They want this overtime, and they're pushing in. They've already got the 1 kill on Highway on Shiz, and Showtime's moving up. He's been the hero once before. They need him now more than ever, but it's not going to happen. Automatic will take him down. I think that's 32 kills for Automatic in regulation.
Huge.
And that's overtime as well for Cloud9 here. What a beast.
Definitely a very strong comeback by Cloud9 there. To take a risk like that on the last round, they just did basically an explosion, right? They used basically 1 or 2 flashes and went. Now, when you have all the utility like they did, and you go into the last round of the half where you may potentially lose the game, and you don't use your utility, if you lost that, think about the regret. It'd be like, man, we had full nades, we had all this stuff to our disposal, and we took a risk like that. But when it pays off in this situation and you explode out, you completely catch the CTs off guard, get in that bomb site, make some sick frags, you're just going to be confident.
Oh, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Overtime, which means we're looking for the first team to get 19 rounds. It's the new magic number. And just in case anyone is unaware of what the format is, but that is the briefest possible explanation. They start with 10,000 and all the rest of it. Showtime to take down nothing. Yell to take down Skadoodle. My God, Chad, where were these kills in regulation? If they could have had this, they would have been on to the third map.
So they have, obviously they're starting with that extra money, so they're able to get those 2 AWPs up straight away, which means more penetration, more aggression, less concern for those weapons. And now they know they're in overtime. The pressure is on, but maybe they think they needed to take that risk I was talking about and pay it off early.
That's the bomb dropped as well by the forklift. Yell making a fairly dangerous transition back towards Quad, but it might actually catch Cloud9 off guard.
Oh no.
You can see that Shroud is not quite aware. He doesn't hear the scope up either, and he goes down. Now Stewie, AWP in hand, he's certainly very capable with this weapon, but it's not going to be easy, and he goes down to Showtime. So Luminosity winning the first round in overtime.
Yeah, still a lot of reliance on Showtime to find those frags. Yell's obviously stepped up a lot, especially in this second half, or at least their CT half. And Shiz, he was doing a good job early too. But for me, it seems like Showtime is the one who's making a lot of impact frags, making it difficult in all different situations for Cloud9 right now.
I think, wasn't Yell at 117 at some point? I think he was.
Yeah, he wasn't doing fantastically, but he's picked it up here. And going to be Cloud9 heading over towards B. All 5 members are going to see Showtime. This is his Brazilian picks, I'm going to call him from now on, Anders. He gets stuck in close. He got one the other day completely flashed. Can he get one here?
Right in front of the flashbangs, just all over the place. Now they're going to be pushing through. They spot out Destiny, and that's a quick loss of a bomb site and possibly a round.
Yeah, not great there. Showtime doubted himself. He was thinking about running, but he flicked back and completely blind, wasn't able to land his crosshair in the right position. The retake will most likely come in for the guys from Luminosity, as they did win the first CT round. Flash comes in, the pushes through the smoke. Will they catch anyone off guard? Spam comes in from Stroud. He's going to get one. Shuri will take down Shiz, and now Yell. This is the situation, Anders, where I'm more than happy for him to try and get exits. Hang around, get as many exits as you can. Make it a costly round for Cloud9. Not going to happen.
Well, he gave it his best, but Stewie and Shroud just getting all the kills in that one round. And, I mean, it almost is an all-in when you go for that kind of a push.
100%.
Like, you could see that Destiny was never going to be in a position where he could have done very much behind that box.
Yeah, and as on the replay, once more, you see Showtime. The flash comes in. It's like he's got old man reactions there. Like he was trying to flick away from the flash, but he was already blind when he moved his mouse. He should have just stuck his crosshair where it was, taken a shot with timing, and then tried to get away through the smoke. But that hesitation really cost him. And Cloud9, once again, want to go towards B, want to really punish this.
Showtime's in position, but every B player knows this one. You're trapped in the middle of everything. You can't get back. And they just open up. And this time they weren't even being that aggressive, Luminosity. They still get run over. And the Cloud9 trucking 5 versus 3 here. This could be the first half of the overtime done right now. They're trying to push in. Shiz can't see a single thing. Flash goes away. He picks up one, but is immediately refragged by Skadoodle. Yell and PGL, these rounds are so important for them here. If they lose it in overtime, that's going to be heartbreaking. They're trying their very best. PGL, he gets one kill, goes for it. Oh, takes the shot on Skadoodle. That's a big frag, and he's going to tap the bomb once. He does not have a kit, and that almost means he can't really win it. He gets one more, nothing, but there's just so much time for Stewie to take the fight, and he will. 17 to 16. 2 more rounds for Cloud9, or 3 for Luminosity, or double overtime.
Sometimes the simplest strategies are the best, hey, Anders? The old rush B.
Rush.
Straight from the Russian strat book there, and it works, pays off 2 rounds in a row. They're able to get both entries onto that B site, run them over, run them out of town, and smoke off the choke points, make it very difficult on that retake, and Cloud9 pushing themselves into the lead here in the first overtime.
Is that just, you get that sort of slight momentum break between regulation and overtime? Was that enough for Cloud9 to sort of, you just have an extra thing and think, wait a minute, what if we just do this, you know? Like, where did that come from, you think?
I would say that's someone's suggestion, right? The in-game leader's probably racking his brain thinking about the best strategical move that they could go with, and I'm sure someone's just gone, why don't we just rush B? Simple as that.
All right, then. 3 men on the B bomb side for Cloud9, so it seems like another sort of read or another sort of, you know, bright idea. We think, you know what, maybe they're going to try and go for something similar on their side.
Yeah. Like, with a game that we've had so far, where it's been different strategies being tried, different moves being employed, it comes to a point where you can start to take risks, because what they did, it wasn't a game where you lost because somebody made a mistake. They lost because the decision-making or the moves for the entire team just didn't work in those circumstances. I haven't really seen any glaringly obvious like misplays that have lost crucial rounds or potentially like pushed a team to this situation. So Cloud9 have a chance now to take those gambit plays, do those stacks, try and be a little bit random in these situations to catch Luminosity off guard and then try and peel apart their default. Setting up now for what looks like a mid-control, I would say. Maybe into an A split, because we can see PKL over towards Squeaky Door, still loitering around that area.
Oh, I actually thought they were going to try and take even more mid-control. Seems like they've given up on that and just flashing their way in, but look at that automatic. Getting 2 big frags, nothing taking down Showtime. And now Yell and PGL not in a good position. Yell will at least pick up 1 kill, but the bomb jump in main. With just 24 seconds left, it is looking very bad for the Brazilian side at the moment. They've come so far, but now they're 1 round away from losing the Cloud9 here on the second map. Oh man, I mean, I much preferred the idea of pushing Squeak, main, and highway.
Yes.
I thought that was good.
Yeah.
The 4 through main is a big risk. I mean, you can't really account for the timing on this. This flashbang is so good, but still.
Yeah, well, the adjustment, right? I was saying time and time again that I think the Cloud9 players, especially Automatic and Stewie, are moths to a flame, and that flame is the smoke. So what Luminosity were doing well was once they were getting out onto the bomb site, waiting for the smoke pushes from those 2 players and getting kills, and then giving themselves the man advantage. In that situation, they didn't even get a chance to throw the smokes. Automatic was more proactive. He pushed in, grabbed those 2 entries, as you mentioned, and they didn't have any mid control. So that was the round over from that point, I thought.
They got 1 more chance here, Luminosity. And they're fighting for double overtime right now. They need to win the next 2 rounds in a row, but Cloud9 already done a lot of damage to Yell, who actually tried to challenge inside of the Molotov on the boost, hoping that someone would... Because people do this a lot. They throw the Molotov when they're by sandbags or something, and then they just rotate over towards hallway because they think, oh, it's fine. No, there's a smoke in mid, and there's a Molotov there. I'm going to be fine. So I actually kind of think that's cool, but... when it doesn't work, it looks silly. I'm
a culprit of doing that, right? Not sending the Molotov. I used to be the mid holder. I would smoke mid, I'd throw my Molotov, and then I'd run wide because I'm like, no one's going to stand in the Molotov. But people are more than happy to take, as we can see, a ton of damage to get that 1 frag, which is huge. It's an opening into the round, and you haven't lost that player. And even if you are low, you can still play a pivotal role as an AWPer and, you know, a bit of a, I guess, an anchor position, watching a bomb site push, or maybe just in an afterplant position holding.
35 seconds left, and Shroud and Stewie both have their Molotov still intact. Actually, one of them just put out now, but that means any missed timing here, any missed opportunity for Luminosity, and they could just be swept off the map by that one Molotov. We'll see how it goes. Stewie, he only gets the one kill. Showtime and Shiz coming back into it strong, and Showtime with a slightly late push into the middle, taking a battle there, landing a headshot on nothing. That's big, but Shroud, he's going to get the refrag. He goes down right afterwards. And Luminosity take a step, one more step towards double overtime here.
Yeah, that, you know, once again, the A players, Stewie and Automatic, are getting beat down. Like, they're just, once they do that simple execute, smokes down between Fork and Red Box, and then, you know, simple Molotov and flashes, and they're just getting traded out on the bomb site. And like I say, these Cloud9 guys want to just fight. So the duels are just constantly happening, and that mid player that came through was also pretty influential for Luminosity in that situation. What I want to see from Cloud9 is, to me, it feels like they have more skill, right? To me, it feels like they're playing with a higher skill ceiling, and they can hit more shots that the Luminosity guys might not be able to do. Let's do something like this, Anders. Here's the call. I'm the in-game leader right now.
Go on.
All right, guys. Old mate Skadoodle, I want you to sit at truck, play retake A with the AWP. Everyone else, we're pushing B. We're just getting stuck in. No respect. Take these guys down, get in their face, trade out Showtime, keep pushing, make them squirm. They're going to run onto the A bomb site. They're going to think, Jesus, 4 have been spotted. Skadoodle's going to get 2 free kills as they run out A main with their guns in hand, no smokes being deployed, and that's the round.
You'd go that deep?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I mean, I would like to see that. I think that would be an exciting move to finish this, to potentially finish this game with, if indeed it worked out. I myself, I'm a big fan of double pushes into squeak door.
Okay.
I think those are fun.
Yeah, the only time I don't like that is really the pistol round if you're going to just hold it. If you're going to push aggressively and keep running through with it, I think it can be really effective because not only do you get a key component of the map under your belt, you can also pick people on the boost because not always are people sending people a player squeaky, right? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're too busy boosting up middle, and if you swing out from squeaky relatively fast, you can have a couple of free kills.
Trading smokes in the middle and going for the Molotov, which is pretty much standard here. Looks like Luminosity are going quite quickly towards the B bomb side. That Molotov is so good. It zones out the push, and Showtime goes down. Trying to transfer that onto the next player, but nothing is still in checker. They haven't really cleared that out yet. He's going to pick up 1 kill, walks into Shiz, and now Automatic. They're sort of dribbling into checker one at a time here. That's not always the best move, but that's the bomb down. Automatic finding the perfect kill. Skadoodle showing up as well. And now PGL in a world of trouble here, walking around the corner. He gets the kill on Automatic, but I am not sure it's enough. They have, the shot coming through. Yes, it was.
No way.
He takes it in through checkered. Unbelievable. PGL is down. And Skadoodle is a hero. 19-17. They take out Luminosity.